Hello, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Worthiness Codes. I'm your host, Jaclyn Francis. It is so beautiful to be in this space with you today. If you're new here, the Worthiness Codes is all about conscious conversations, guided meditations, and light code transmissions through light language to empower you to become your most divine self. And today, I wanted to drop in to have a conversation of the ego and how the ego can be the number one thing holding you back from manifesting your deepest desires and from stepping into your highest, most authentic self. Something I've recently uncovered through this journey is that my ego has very much been leading my life. And it was through this journey of unbecoming where I've met my truest, most authentic, most beautiful, powerful self rooted in the frequency of love. And getting here was not an easy journey, but it was a beautiful one. And where I stand today is a completely different place than I was less than a year ago, a completely different place than a couple months ago, and even a completely different place than a week ago. There have been such rapid shifts taking place in my field. I'm sure a lot of you can feel it as well. Things are shifting very, very quickly on a collective level as the energies within the earth are changing and are shifting. But when it comes to my own journey and where I'm at today and the person that I'm today, she is different. She is so different, and I love her so much. And my prayer is that you are standing where you're at today, looking at yourself in the mirror and loving the person that you are, loving the person that you're becoming, and allowing your heart to lead you, giving yourself permission to let your heart guide you versus your ego. And I think this is such a insightful conversation to be having, because a lot of the time as humans, we turn to manifestation. We turn to a lot of the different techniques that are out there to really step into this life that we want to create for ourselves. And something that I found along my journey, and I've considered myself to be a very powerful manifester. It's something that I've always been capable of doing. Every single person is capable of doing it. But for myself, I've manifested a lot of really big things in this life. And I've realized that it was coming from the place of my ego. And typically that's the case with a lot of the ways, a lot of the techniques that are taught to manifest. If you are someone who loves manifestation, if you sit there and you envision the life that you want to have, you envision the person that you want to become, you make your list, you use crystals, you manifest on new moons, whatever your ritual looks like, most of the time it's very heavily rooted in the ego. And the reason why I say that is because our consciousness, our human mind, only knows so much. When we are calling in something, we are calling it in from a place that is led by the ego. And even though we could be sitting here and calling it in from a place of our heart, if we are constructing the vision of what we want through specific details, we are doing ourselves a really big injustice, because the universe knows so much more than we do, because our higher self and the power that we cannot see from God, from the universe, from source, from whatever you want to call it, is there to allow these things to fall into our life in the way that they are meant to for our greatest and highest good. So if we can move from a place of constructing from the ego, thinking we want A, B, C, D, and E, and moving into a place of opening our hearts and commanding that we are a being of light, we are a being of love, we are a being of abundance, that all of these aspects are our birthright to hold, while envisioning, in a sense, aspects of the future we want to have, aspects of ourselves that we want to be, aspects of the life that we want to create, and anchoring into complete trust and surrender while opening yourself up to fully receive without any expectation. It allows the universe to do her job in the way that she does it best, which allows you to receive the things that are divinely meant for you in a way that look very different from the ego. Because if you compare the ego to the universe, looking at the level of energy, the level of power, the level of consciousness, our egos are very, very teeny compared to the level of consciousness that the universe holds. So if we think that we can be X, the universe is going to show us, if we trust her, that you can be so much more than what you think. And she will give all of the things to you if you allow her to. So for me recently, through my journey of unbecoming, I have really allowed my ego to die many times, allowing the aspects of myself that I thought were here to be with me for forever, letting them go to really understand who I am on a soul level. And it has been so eye-opening. So eye-opening. And it's been a big reason as to why I've experienced so many shifts. Because if you can allow yourself to just unbecome, to allow yourself to begin to flow with life, to allow yourself to just be, to be these energies that are rooted in trust and love and surrender and peace and authenticity, everything will fall together in the way that it's supposed to without getting your mind involved. And I'll share something that I recently realized that has been incredibly eye-opening for me. It's completely changed the way that I view the life that I want for myself. Not even a year ago, my ego desired to have a comfortable life with purpose being just an aspect of that life. And it was recent where I realized that my life looks so much different than that, because I allowed my ego to dissolve, and I've allowed my heart to open, and I've allowed my soul to lead. I've been shown that for me specifically, purpose is not just an aspect of my life. Purpose is the core of my being. Purpose is the core of my life. And I want to live my life through purpose. I want my life to reflect being of service with the divine partner that also wants to do that alongside me. And that is something that is very different than I've always thought. But because I've allowed my ego to dissolve, do you see the connection here of how my ego was leading me through those visions that I've had for myself? And when I allowed myself to let that go, I had space to allow the truth, my truth, to come forth. And now I know within my entire being that my life looks very different from what I once thought. And though that can be scary, of course, it can be not just scary to you, but to people closest to you, right? It's very much in alignment to who I am in my most authentic form. And the feeling that I received once I realized all of this was one of knowing that that for me is in complete alignment. And so now, understanding that, I am not sitting and writing a list of all the things I want to receive in this life, because that will just pull me back into the state of the ego, which is from a much smaller lens than that through the universe. So instead, I sit and I feel into what that energy is. For me, I'm a big feeler, so I can feel energy of things before they even happen. But for the sake of this conversation, let's call it envisioning, right? We can envision what we want for our future in a way that feels good to our soul. It's opening our hearts into the emotion, into the feeling of what that holds, while completely surrendering to the trust of the universe that she will deliver everything for us in our greatest and highest good. because now we have this spaciousness within us because we are not limiting ourselves by the ego-driven mind. The ego is something that is really here to keep us small. It's not necessarily a bad thing. We are human. We have egos. Our egos are here to protect us on our journey, but there are certain aspects of the ego that do not serve you, especially when you choose to walk down this path of unbecoming to be in alignment to your most authentic self. A big part of that journey is ego deaths. And ego deaths are jarring because they completely shake things up for you. They shake things up in your reality. They completely change the way that you view the world, and they completely shift and alter the things that you are and you desire. So yes, it can be very scary, but it's beautiful because having the awareness of your ability to be able to do that is powerful. Think about that. If you're able to understand that, wait a minute, you know what I'm manifesting right now is really coming from my ego. I don't know if this is truly in alignment to my soul. Let me ask for the remembrance of what my soul wants. Let me do the inner work to allow these old stories, to allow these limiting beliefs, to allow these narratives that are rooted in the ego to completely dissolve. Let my heart show me the way. Your heart is your most powerful portal. Your heart is going to show you everything that you need in this world. It's going to show you everything that you are, everything that you desire, everything that you can do, that you can create, that you can become, that you can receive. So it's moving from the place of the ego into the heart that is your most powerful pathway into manifestation. And now Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you're familiar with his teachings, he talks about mind and heart coherence. And I 100% believe in his techniques. I think they are so powerful. But be careful, right? Because don't think of the mind as the ego. Think of the mind as the tool that is envisioning what your future wants. So don't allow your mind to limit you. Don't allow your mind to lead you through this journey of creating your life's most deepest desires. Drop into the heart, let the heart lead, and then bring the feeling, bring the desires up through the heart to the passageway of the mind to create the vision through your third eye, knowing that everything will come into alignment in your greatest and highest good and divine timing. So if you are someone who is currently calling in something, trying to manifest something, whether that is a new version of self, whether that's a partner, a job, or envisioning their entire lives for themselves, I want you to sit, close your eyes, and tune into your heart and ask yourself if what you're calling in is truly in alignment to your soul. Because most of the time, it won't be. To be completely honest and transparent with you, it won't be. I have manifested my ex-partner. I manifested a home. I manifested many jobs that I've held. I've manifested a lot in my life. So it is possible, of course, to manifest through the ego, to sit and create a list and get really specific on the things that you desire. But you are also limiting yourself at the same time. And I think this realization didn't come into my field as someone who's been manifesting for many, many, many years until now, because I've stepped into a completely new version of self. A version of self, a new frequency of energy that no longer is in alignment to that old way of manifesting. The way that I manifest now is through, again, allowing my ego to completely dissolve, to really just opening my heart to the energy of what I know my life holds. For me, that's love, that's purpose, that's freedom, it's sovereignty, it's travel, right? It's these things that are very important to me, looking at the energetics of it, specific emotions, specific frequencies that are of importance to me. Same with a partner. It's understanding the energetics and the aspects on a high level of what it is that my soul desires in that partner. And it's opening my heart and feeling into all of that energy while allowing the specifics to completely go. Because again, I don't want to limit myself. Knowing that the universe is taking care of everything behind the scenes, knowing that everything that I desire already exists, and that is why I desire it, knowing that it is possible to receive because it all lives within me. These emotions, these feelings, these wants, these desires are coming to surface because it is a part of my soul. So when you allow your soul, your heart to be the leader versus your ego, you are leaving so much room for magic to happen. And it will most likely show up in a way that looks very different from what you once thought was something that you wanted, but it will very much be in alignment. It will very much be in alignment for your greatest and highest good. And that is what is important, because you don't want to limit yourself. So instead of sitting down and grabbing a pen and paper and making a list, tune into your heart, open up your heart field, and really sink into what it is that you desire in this life. Who do you desire to be? Who do you desire to be with? What does your purpose look like? What does the rest of your life look like? And then the most important part is just to fully surrender and to fully trust. To fully trust, because when you trust and when you surrender, you're communicating to the universe that you are ready to receive and that you trust that whatever comes through is in your greatest and highest good. It also communicates that you don't need it now. You don't need it to look a certain way. Because if you do, if you constantly are thinking about it, or you're constantly pushing, I need it now, I want it now, I need it to look this way, I need it to be by this time, the universe is not going to think that you trust her, and you're not going to get the manifestation that you desire. So know that everything is happening behind the scenes. It's being orchestrated, and it will fall into your reality in divine timing. So let your ego go. Open your heart. Feel into the energy from a top level, looking at the aspects of all of those things that you desire to create the spaciousness to receive. Anchor into that trust, that surrender, and allow the universe to deliver it to you while staying in this high vibrational frequency of gratitude and joy, being present in the now. Knowing that all that you have is here. All that you are is who you are right now, and that is what matters most. Because that is all that exists, is the present moment. Though everything is living in the quantum field, the only thing that matters for you in your human form is the present moment. And everything will manifest within this timeline, within this reality, within this present moment in divine timing. So I invite you to try that out. See how that feels, because I can promise you it is very different from manifesting from your ego. It is very different, and it will look very different, like I said. Not very long ago, I thought I wanted my life to look one way, and I was certain of it. Going on a journey to unbecoming, to really understand my soul's truth, my authenticity, what's important to me on a soul level, my life, the life that I most deeply desire, looks very different. And though there are aspects that, are still the same, rooted in love and wanting to be a mom and wanting a partner and all those things, again, that's why the core aspects are important to call in at a high level. What that looks like is different from what it once looked like. So I hope this makes sense, because this practice, this awareness of how limiting your ego actually is, and this knowing of what you are capable of receiving when you tune into the frequency of authenticity, of love, of trust, of surrender, is magical. And it is powerful, and you are capable of doing it. Another thing that I just thought of that I've been playing with recently, and it's been so beautiful, are these light beings called the serendipities. The serendipities are light beings similar to fairies, I believe, that are here to bring signs and synchronicities into your field. They are light beings that want to be called on. They want to be worked with because they want to share their magic. And I promise you, their magic is powerful. I recently started calling upon them, welcomed them into my field to be a part of my spirit team. And I call upon them, just say, hey, I would love to see your magic if you want to share. And the magic they have showed me, oh man, has been, I literally have no words to describe it. I have no words to describe it. And there are a lot of things that I can list out, but I'm going to keep them close to my heart because they are personal. But man, I encourage everyone to call upon them and to welcome them into your team and to ask to see their magic. You will receive massive signs, massive synchronicities, even insights into things that you receive this like light bulb moment. It's been beautiful. So yeah, I think they wanted me to share that because I haven't heard of them prior to recently. So I think they want more people to call upon them to use their magic, and you should. You really should. So yeah, I am just really feeling so at peace with myself and with my life. And though for me specifically, so much is shifting in my field at such a rapid pace. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, or at least I think I said, I have had realizations within, the time span of a week that completely catapulted me into a new timeline, that completely changed the way that I view myself and this life and the things that I desire. So things are really shifting. And I know it's happening for a lot of other people as well. It's happening on a collective level. So if you resonate with that, just know that it's all happening for your greatest and highest good. And it's most likely happening for you because you've tapped into this deeper aspect of self. You've tapped into soul alignment. And that is beautiful. That's just the knowing that everything is shifting in your field to present you with what is truly meant for you in this time-space reality. So just anchor in to the present, into the now. Nourish your body, give your body love, give your body touch. Put your feet in the dirt, in the sand, spend time in nature. If you have someone to hug them for a little bit longer than usual. Really allow your body to fill back up with light, because these shifts, when they happen, your body needs to be strong enough to hold the frequency. Right? When manifestations come through, your body has to be grounded to hold that frequency. Because if you're not, the manifestation won't come through. And even if it does come through, if you're not grounded, you're not going to be able to maintain that manifestation. So it might come into your life and then quickly exit. So it's important to nourish your body and really ground, really anchor into your present, your body, and the now. And I know that I'll be able to share more details into what has been manifesting in my field with you all. But for now, these are things that are still being worked out by the universe. I can feel it within every cell, every fiber of my being, that things are going to change for me very soon in a really big way. I have this knowing that they are. And I will keep all of that information that I've received close to my heart until I feel ready to share. But just know that you are powerful and you are the creatrix of your own life. Change your inner world to reflect your outer reality. Make those shifts internally. Call upon your love that you hold within. Call upon the joy, the peace. Create the spaciousness within your body. to tap into your heart field, to allow that electromagnetic field to radiate to the universe, to communicate everything that you desire. Don't limit yourself to your ego, because you are so much bigger than that. And you don't even know. You don't even know. But you are so much bigger than what the ego tells you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Until next time. Bye.